Well, if you're going to lose a Super Bowl, there's probably going to be some plays that you didn't make or some plays that went poorly. So let's talk about the 7 worst plays of the Super Bowl. The first one is the one I'm showing, the Christian McCaffrey fumble. This was not ideal. It was not ideal by the 49ers here. Again, to some degree, you could look at this and say, well, fumbles happen, and, it was kind of a good defensive play. It wasn't like he was really being that reckless with it, but still, you can't fumble, especially in the Super Bowl. You just can't do it, especially when you're a star running back. It's a mistake. It just is. Going over here, number 2 on the list isn't really a play, but a series of bad moments. So they get the interception, but then they're not able to capitalize on it. First, there's kind of a straight shot to Purdy. He has to throw the football away. Then after a 5-yard penalty, they have the next play where they throw it, and it's incomplete. And then finally, they're like, well, we got to throw it now. Purdy tries to scramble up, isn't able to get enough. They don't capitalize on that interception. They had great field position, a chance to go up 2 scores. The whole dynamic of the game changes when you're up 2 scores. They're not able to capitalize on it. That's definitely one you look back at and say, okay, it wasn't the worst play, but a bad moment for the San Francisco 49ers. Speaking of bad moments, in overtime, not giving the ball to the Kansas City Chiefs. It was also, there were reports that apparently some 49ers players weren't exactly sure of the rules, although I have some questions about what that actually means. Like, does that mean that they didn't realize that, in overtime, if you score a touchdown first, you don't win the game? Or my guess is it has more to do with, like, the clock stuff at the end of the overtime situation, which either way, still not great. But in my opinion, I think they should have given the ball to Kansas City first, so that way they know what they need when they, have their drive. It's easy to say that, right? Because if the Chiefs get stopped on their drive and kick a field goal, then all the 49ers would have needed is a field goal to win. So you understand the logic, but to me, this was a mistake by the 49ers. But number 4 on the list, one of the biggest mistakes, you could argue the biggest mistake of the game was this one, which is a muff punt. Again, calling it a muff punt maybe is unfair because it hit off the special teams player who wasn't trying to catch the punt, bounced off his leg. Ray-Ray McCloud did what he could to try and fall on it, but it was not enough. And still, he had a chance to get it. I thought he kind of tried to keep running while picking it up. Maybe he should have just fallen on it. I don't know. But either way, that was a massive swing in the game. They just got a 3 and out. Momentum was on their side. One play later, they're trailing. This play, 3rd down and 4, I don't really know if you would sit here and say this was an awful play. Maybe it's more of a good defensive play, but still, it was an opportunity. McDuffie was able to come through and make the play, and because of that, on a 3rd and 4, they had to kick a field goal now instead of continuing their drive and trying to kick a field goal as time expired. If they converted this 1st down, they probably do win the Super Bowl. Again, it was a good defensive play, but also, there was an opportunity here, so it makes the list. Number 6 on the list is this one, leaving Chris Jones unblocked at the line on a key play. This was their last offensive play of the game. Overtime, 3rd down and 4, but Chris Jones getting through untouched allows him to disrupt the play. Purdy kind of looks like him and Jennings might not have been on the same page. Like Brandon Ayuk was wide open in the back of the end zone. No way Purdy had time there, though. This was just a terrible time to make a mistake. Again, they've been playing football for a long time. Mistakes are going to happen, but it's still a bad mistake. Finally, in overtime, I'll give an honorable mention to the Nick Bosa play, because again, it is one of those things where, his assignment is to look at the running back. That is worth mentioning. Still, at the same time, though, kind of feels like you should be looking at Mahomes on this one, so definitely got to throw that one in there as well. But my final mistake to talk about, again, these are kind of in no particular order, but I'm going to go with all of the cover 0 down the stretch. You see Kyle Shanahan at one point called a timeout to just say, hey, enough with this cover 0 stuff. There was key 3rd down at the end of regulation on the Chiefs' field goal drive where they, Niners played cover 0, Chiefs converted. Then in overtime, there was a couple of cover 0s. The Chiefs really had no issue with it. I don't know why they kept going to cover 0 because it wasn't working. So that's one of these 7 biggest mistakes here for the 49ers. I really did 8 plays, but whatever. 7 was how I've been doing these all season, so it's, we'll call it still 7. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What play do you think should have made the list that didn't? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.